Welcome to the Pencil Bob channel. I hope you enjoy the story. Remember to like and subscribe. And now the story. Do us a favor, if you don't like something about one of our videos, don't just hit the thumbs down. Leave us a comment so we can improve. Thanks.
The sun hung low in the sky, casting long shadows across the sprawling fields of Birchwood Farm. Jason stood at the edge of his property, surveying what remained of the land he had poured his heart and soul into for decades. What was once a thriving agricultural haven was now reduced to a mere fragment of its former glory, surrounded on all sides by the cookie-cutter houses of the newly built subdivision. And looming over it all, like an ominous shadow, was the Homeowners Association, a constant thorn in Jason's side ever since they had set foot in his life. It began with a fateful choice that Jason now found himself rueing incessantly, the pivotal moment when he decided to part ways with a slice of his cherished land to a developer a decade prior. In the haze of that distant decision, he couldn't have foreseen the tumultuous cascade of consequences it would unfurl, transforming his tranquil existence into a tumultuous whirlwind of unforeseen challenges and heartaches. What seemed like a simple transaction at the time now loomed large as the catalyst for a series of events that would reshape the very fabric of his reality, leaving him grappling with regret and grappling with the ramifications of his choice. The remaining piece of land he held onto had a peculiar shape, with a protruding T at the top that wrapped around the northern section of the HOA's territory. It was this piece of land that the HOA had been eyeing hungrily for years, making relentless attempts to persuade Jason to sell it to them. But Jason, stubborn and defiant, refused to cave to their demands, especially after enduring years of their petty harassment and nitpicking. The HOA's litany of complaints knew no bounds, stretching from the hue of his barn to the mere inches of his grass, each grievance more trivial than the last. With a fervor akin to a relentless storm, they sought to impose fines upon him, their scrutiny stopping at nothing to enforce their stringent rules. Yet, Jason, armed with the steadfast counsel of his attorney, thwarted their every attempt with a deftness that left them seething in powerless frustration. Their futile attempts at control merely served to fuel his determination, casting him as the defiant protagonist in a battle against the suffocating grip of conformity. As the sun dipped low over the horizon, casting long shadows across the sprawling expanse of Birchwood Farm, Jason found himself reflecting on the legacy that had defined his life for decades. With his son showing little interest in continuing the proud tradition of farming, and with retirement looming on the horizon like an inevitable force, Birchwood Farm had begun to morph from a bustling center of agricultural activity into a quiet sanctuary, more akin to a hobby farm than a bustling livelihood. Gone were the days of backbreaking labor under the unforgiving sun, replaced instead by leisurely strolls through the fields, a sense of nostalgia tugging at his heartstrings with each step. While he still felt a deep connection to the land that had sustained his family for generations, the rigors of age had tempered his once boundless energy, relegating him to the role of a gentle steward rather than an indefatigable cultivator. Occasionally, a surge of nostalgia would wash over him, prompting him to dust off his trusty scythe and wade into the fields, the rhythmic swish of the blade cutting through the tall grasses a comforting echo of days gone by. But these moments were fleeting, mere glimpses of a time when the land demanded his constant attention and the rhythm of life flowed in harmony with the seasons. Now, as he watched the sun dip below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink, Jason couldn't help but feel a sense of bittersweet resignation wash over him. The torch of his family's farming legacy would soon pass into new hands, leaving Birchwood Farm to stand as a silent testament to a bygone era, its fields whispering tales of toil and triumph to those who cared to listen. Suddenly, tragedy descended like a dark cloud upon Jason's life. The tranquility of Birchwood Farm was shattered when one of Jason's beloved sons fell critically ill, sending shockwaves through their peaceful existence. With a heart heavy with worry, Jason embarked on a desperate journey across the country, racing against time to be by his son's bedside. As he grappled with the anguish of his son's illness, Birchwood Farm stood silent and neglected, its fields untended and its once bustling barns eerily quiet. In his absence, a sinister plot was unfolding. Seizing the opportunity presented by his absence, the Homeowners Association, like opportunistic vultures, stealthily began to enact their devious plan. With each passing day, Birchwood Farm grew more vulnerable, its fate hanging precariously in the balance. Upon his return, Jason was greeted with a sight that chilled him to the bone. His barn, once a stalwart symbol of his livelihood, was nowhere to be found. The farm equipment, meticulously maintained over the years, had vanished without a trace. And in their place stood the beginnings of a community center and the skeletal outlines of housing foundations, encroaching further onto his land with each passing day. Furious and incredulous, Jason stormed to the HOA's headquarters, demanding answers. But what he received was a cold dismissal from a new board of leaders who claimed ignorance of his ownership. According to them, the previous owner had sold off the land and disappeared, leaving no trace behind. In their eyes, Jason was nothing more than a ghost, a phantom of the past. Refusing to accept this flagrant violation of his rights, Jason sought legal recourse. With the help of his lawyer, he filed a lawsuit against the HOA, exposing their deceitful tactics and fraudulent activities. The courtroom became the battleground where the fate of Birchwood Farm would be decided. The trial stretched out like an endless labyrinth, each twist and turn a test of Jason's resilience and fortitude. Every grueling moment seemed designed to break his spirit, yet he stood firm, unwavering in his resolve to reclaim the precious ground he had fought so hard for. With every piece of evidence presented, Jason's determination burned brighter, a beacon of unwavering resolve amidst the storm. Each day in the courtroom was a battle, but Jason met every challenge head-on, his conviction unshakable. And when the moment of truth arrived, and the final verdict echoed through the hallowed halls of justice, it was not just a victory, it was a triumph of the human spirit. Against all odds, Jason emerged victorious, his perseverance rewarded with the sweet taste of vindication. The court ruled in his favor, condemning the HOA for their egregious actions and ordering them to pay a hefty sum in damages. The financial blow was devastating, nearly bankrupting the once powerful organization and leaving its members reeling in disbelief. But for Jason, the victory was about more than just monetary compensation. It was a vindication of his principles, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit in the face of injustice. And as he stood amidst the ruins of Birchwood Farm, watching the sun set on another day, he knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, he would always fight for what was his, no matter the cost.
I would like to thank you for watching the video to the end. To encourage us to make more videos, please like, subscribe, comment, as well as share. Check out this other video if you haven't already.